Hello everyone, welcome to Interview with the Masters. Today we have Reinaldo Quintero. Um, I'm sure many of you are familiar with his work. He draws awesome ladies and got beautiful figures. And registration for CGMA will begin January 9th. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to Reinaldo.
Hi guys, how's everything? Welcome to the interview. I don't know how many people are out there, but welcome.
Oh, sorry, really quickly, please feel free to ask questions anytime. I will relay them to Reinaldo as they come in, depending on the topic, just to keep the flow going. And yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. Let me see. Should I answer the question?
Yeah, you can get started.
Okay. It's
I,
for me what? Okay.
I can read it to you so you don't have to look it
All
up.
right. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
What do you think about myself wanting to take this seriously for like 2 years ago? Hold on one second. I believe he's basically asking, he's 24 years old. Am I still a good age for doing art?
Yeah, definitely. I think that for art there's no age. I think some people might think that it's something that you only do when you're like really young or or during that phase of your life that you think that will be the best years to start. But actually, you can start anytime, and some people really start doing art. I have seen that start doing art around 25, 30, 30 something. It doesn't matter, and sometimes they have a better quick vision, and they just make it really fast, and they improve because I think it all depends on the way you see things and how you envision things. If you have a positive mindset, then things will be more easier for you. I don't think it's never late, and I wouldn't think about it at all because it's something that it's just there. People will see your drawings and they won't they won't ask, oh, how old is this person? I mean, I don't think about that. When I see a drawing, I see, wow, that's really cool. I like the message. I like the skills. I like how they did it. And I think it's awesome. It could be somebody from like 120 years or whatever age. But if there is something there, it's awesome. I know people who have been like engineers and done different careers, and then they want to change, and they take it as a hobby, and then they suddenly just happen they were really cool, and they really have that skills, extra skills. So I wouldn't say that it's never late, and especially now, like there's so much resources online, especially with the CGMA and so many schools that actually there's no like any 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 walls to to improve. So or to start learning. It's never late. I mean, late is when you are gone. That's when it's late. So yeah, that will be my 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 vision or my opinion on that. Many people say that no, I'm too old or whatever. I think if you have that young spirit of wanting to do something, then it doesn't matter. If you really have that open-minded way of seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't. I like kind of like to do these kind of like piece of faces most of the time. I think because it's easy. but but it's fun. I don't know, like that. And it's something like that. Yeah. And any other questions?
Not at the moment, but I'll let you know when they come in. You can just keep going. Do you do a lot of warm-ups usually, like before you start these kinds of warm-ups?
Yeah, I did. I do most of the time warm-ups. I I change it. Sometimes I can be drawing in the computer, and it's a good way to put some images and do it. But sometimes I like to go to like a coffee shop and sit down there and look at the people what they're doing, and then from that I can warm up. And outside I have that little, I wouldn't say problem, but situation that I spend so much time in the computer, like especially when I was um, way younger, like spend all the time in the computer. But now I really want to spend all the time out of the computer, so I rather like do sketches outside and see people and see the sun and be outside. I think there's like a lot of things that you can learn from that, and it helps you to refresh your spirit. You wake up early in the morning and just go directly to the computer. You might it's a state of mind. I think you
Yeah.
change. You might get a better idea if you go out and, oh, look at that cool car, or look at that person so weird, or look at that. Oh, but that's a good idea. So you might have better ideas
Hmm.
just by going out and walking and or even if you go to like a bookstore and check some books or something. Sometimes I find like walking and checking some books around. I found some interesting material that I wouldn't have found if I stayed home, or watching whatever, like in YouTube. So sometimes you find things that appears to you because you took the chance to, let's go out, see what's happened, and yeah, being away of the computer. I like it. So most of my drawings that I post online are, I have a lot of digital work, but I like to upload sketches and stuff like that because it's what I enjoy the most, like drawing. And these are, let me show you this one example. This was a live drawing session, and going to live drawing sessions, apart like going out of the house, as I was saying, you can make the character and you can integrate and be more creative. So I like to do the sketches and clean them up later on in the computer a little bit more. But I like to keep the ideas fresh. That's something that I like the most. And because you can have an idea and then you can start polishing the idea, but start getting stiff. So I kind of like the rhythm of having an idea and having a model and then come up with something quickly and think in the spot. You know,
Hmm.
these are these are sketches I have done in the coffee shop. People there. So I remember most of these guys, especially this guy here. He wanted some coffee. Yeah, faces like that. This is from my mind. This is with a model, or sometimes from imagination. So it's like a mix. This is when I was in Paris. This guy was there, sitting there. It's good. These are more like a mix of different sketches. Um, Even these ones are, even though the pose was kind of similar from the model, I took it from there and changed it all,
Hmm.
changed it to different things. So, and these are more like commissions that I get from conventions. So usually I do you know, commissions, and this is kind of like the quality that I aim for when I do these kind of like live, like quick drawings,
Hmm.
and then and having all of them here in my sketchbook. This is the new one that this is what I'm showing you right now are the pages for the sketchbook.
Hmm.
Some of them, yeah. And I did this were like commissions, and I did the spot, and I found it like really, I like it fresh, like I didn't, I was not fixing a bunch of stuff or being too careful about things. Sometimes you can go a little bit wild, and suggest, do some suggestions. Sometimes you don't have to draw the whole thing. You can suggest certain things, and the eye will pick it, and then it will be completed in your mind.
Hmm.
So I like that kind of, being simple yet detail where actually it's more simple than that. So I
Hmm.
like to do that. These are more like in the yeah conventions. I get a lot of this kind of stuff like, can you draw me a sexy Leia? Like, okay. I wouldn't. I don't complain at all. Or the anime characters or comic characters people ask me to draw. I think it's cool because sometimes I don't even know the characters. Sometimes I don't know what they're asking for, and it's a surprise, and I get something really really different, or I get to experience another character I wouldn't have drawn.
Very cool. Nice. We have a question. Was it hard at the beginning for you, the transition from paper to tablet? They find it a little bit hard to get the results they want from the tablet than paper.
Mm. Uh, well, I started using tablets from since 2005 and 6. Before that, I was using the mouse to paint, and I went from like really crappy tablets to more advanced ones, and I had the Cintiq for like 5 years now. But I don't think it was difficult actually. I I didn't have any trouble doing that. I think that the problem comes when you are not used to draw that much on paper, and when you try the tablet, there's a little bit of a curve, a learning curve that you have to go through, and mostly it comes with the line confidence. With the line, because it's not the same texture. It's a different material, and it's like plastic, so it can be really slippery when you draw. And probably one of my advice, if you have any problem about that, is just try different strokes and try different brushes, and try different ways of getting the lines that you want. Don't go straight ahead. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a drawing right now because I just got the tablet and I'm gonna do an amazing drawing. So
Mm.
I will give you like time to. I will put some time to sketch like I'm doing right now. Very loose sketches and shapes and things that you would like to explore without having too much attachment to them,
Mhm.
and then it will help you. And one of the things might be not zoom too much on the tablet. Like, I know people might have a sketch like this. Let me see. They have something like this, a sketch, and then you can you can go really close to it and then start. Well, it's already small, but let me make it bigger. Let me see. There you go. So then you start like doing something more like clean, but then you start really getting close and doing all the details and getting into the paint, into the drawing, but you haven't actually solved the whole thing. And when you zoom out and you figure out, well, this is I have only these lines and they don't make much sense. And that's something I had to fight a little bit, and I still am aware about that. It's like zoom out and then draw a little bit from zooming out and get the big picture first. And I made that big picture really, really, really solid, because at the end, that's a that will make your job easier when you have to do the final line art. You don't have to be like uh, thinking or making up lines that you didn't know you needed at the time. So, and then you can have a better shape, because I think like the problem with digital art is that you can really zoom in and then do all the detail, and when you find out that you printed in any paper that detail that you did, that you spent 5 minutes, you don't even see it. Sometimes it's not even printed because it's in the edge of the painting. So sometimes like you really have to be effective and think about like, how much do I really want to show, and do I really need all these details, or yeah, do I really need all this stuff? Maybe I need like less and more graphic and a bold statement. That would help like a lot for like drawing in the tablet, doing a lot of warm-ups. And another one, draw on paper. Be really confident. I guess if you're 100%, well, not 100%, if you're like 90% confident drawing on paper, then you'll be like, I don't know, like 60, 50% on the tablet. So really have to push your drawing on the paper. So when you go back, you have a better sense, or so you're more prepared for that. So yeah, that will be like more like be ready to do a lot of warm-ups and explore, explore the software. Because when you try for the first time, you want it to be the best line, and you want to make it flow and look beautiful, but you actually really need to learn the software and how to create your own brushes, or explore different techniques or different ways of approaching the way you draw. Maybe you need to change the way you draw to something more effective for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if at the end you have the knowledge, then that jump from the tablet to the paper, it will be nothing. You can ask to any other professional that will tell you. If you have the skills, it doesn't matter where you draw. Or sometimes the materials do affect. So if I draw on a blackboard with a pen, that will be more difficult. But you can still draw that thing because you know how it will look. So you can even draw in the sand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that will be that one.
Okay. Another question. They've seen your gesture tutorial video.
Mm-hmm.
Still have problems that maybe not detecting themselves. What do you think would be a good tip to make illustrations more fluid, more vivid, like not looking static?
Well, it's, think about movement. Think about movement, and when I'm drawing all of these sketches, I'm thinking about like an action. I'm thinking this guy's leaning forward. So I think about that. I think about the weight. I think about how big the shoulders are, and I think about, well, the hand. If he's carrying something, then it has to be way bigger, you know. So you can really feel that he's having some struggle there carrying that, even though he's strong. And where is that pushing down? So that would be more about the knowledge about how things react in real life, and have a movement, have a flow. I said in the tutorial you can have like a line, and then on that line you can, as a road, you can build, you know, you can build the rest of the figure. You can put something like this, and then throw a shape, and then probably go up with a line, and maybe make this like this, so this arm is pointing back again to the flow, and then this arm is on this side. So everything is about a flow and a shape that you have. But always think about it. I think when I draw, I do this. I think about the technique of animation that is called break the joints, which means like if you have an arm, let's say you have like, I don't know, like this guy, like this, you know, whatever, like this. Then think about like the sections. You can break it. Where does it bend? Here, 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 and then you can start moving that as a puppet. You know, you can change direction, and you can make different shapes based on that. Instead of having like the arm straight, just think about a flow. Like this is pretty rigid, so probably I will want something more like this, and then change the masses and the volume, you know. So I think it's more about playing and balancing out the figure. Like think about movement, how the gravity is affecting, and if you are jumping, that feet, like jumping, how that feet is like bending, really making the effort, how that calf is like really getting stressed there just to get that jump, even the toes, and you know. So it's a lot of studies. It's a lot of study, but definitely all the time keep it like in the curve. Because when I think about this curve, I already think about the pose of the. I think about the torso, and I think if this curve is this way, then it needs a counter curve here, so it will have a better, you know, um, balance and flow. It's more like this concept, you know. I think many people know about that. It's a it's a one line goes to another one, and there's like a chain kind of thing. So that flow makes the eye and the whole gesture way more appealing, and it's not that as difficult once you have drawn a lot of models and seen people do poses and how they get into the pose, that you learn, okay, so this person did this before going to that pose, so that means that the weight of the body of this character might be on this leg. On the other side, maybe needs to balance like a ballerina. So I think about that. I think about how those arms connect in the flow. You know, sometimes it's better have the flow instead of like really being correct, and like especially in the anatomy. Because if you get the rhythm and the sense of that, then you know you can have that. And as well, the hair. You know, hair really helps to sell the whole thing. Maybe balance. If it's going this way, maybe I want something this way that goes around. And that goes too with composition. If you study composition from the masters or any kind of great composition, then you will see that all the body parts of all the figures. Sometimes they don't. They are just there just to lead the eye. You know. Sometimes you have two characters, and then one character has his arm pointing up, and then pointing up you find the face, and then this character has the other arm like this, and probably this guy is like hugging, or so it's like a certain, like they complement each other, the figures. Well, maybe this is not the best drawing ever because I'm thinking about the whole thing and explaining, but you know, like they make they become a unit, even though they are two separate characters. So I think about that. And sometimes, you know, like you might see now that I'm doing all these lines like this. And I used to start my drawings like that, and sometimes I do it like that too. I just think about the how these lines are giving like force to the whole composition, or if I really like the flow of it. And after that, you can actually make another layer. And then after making another layer, you can really start thinking about the whole pose and maybe add more, maybe make it more clean and start thinking about the rib cage and start thinking about that, you know. So you can start with an idea like that. I'm not finishing this one, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, get something rough like at the beginning, so don't worry too much about, oh, it has to look really beautiful at the beginning. So it's like skipping that kind of like pressure that you put on yourself. You might be like putting too much pressure on you when you draw. It's like, oh, it has to be perfect, or and that's something that I encourage a lot. Is like do a lot of sketches outside and sketch whatever, even if it doesn't look good. You know, maybe it doesn't look good right now, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes the idea doesn't have to look good, but if the idea is really creative and solid, and you have a vision, sometimes you don't need to put to make it so beautiful. Well, maybe the idea is just enough to create a reaction on the people who are looking at your drawing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever worked in any company dedicated to illustrations during these years?
Um, I work with one company called Soda Pop Miniatures. They create the tabletop games, and I have done many character designs, many products, but it's on and off. Nothing like a like a long-term contract, nothing like that. Recently, last year, I was working with the Penthouse magazine, doing some more like sexy, erotic artwork for them. So that's one of the clients I've had recently. But in terms of, apart from that, no. I would like to work in certain like a company or something like that. But right now, I'm doing the things that I really like and getting to travel and meet people and everything. So I'm not that interested in that company right now.
Let's see. This person has many sketches, but they have trouble knowing the next steps to finish a piece. Can you describe the basic steps from beginning to end of the workflow for a finished artwork?
Yeah, I mean everything goes with the sketch idea, and this is the part that's most important. You know, the sketch and the idea that you have. The more time you spend exploring the concept or whatever you have, let's see. Um, well, that's it. No. Instead of going to draw, I'll explain it. You go with the concept and your idea. Then, if you can describe it with words and actions, and yeah, words, action, and some story. If you can put some words on it, and then you can think about the action and think about the story, then you can go ahead and do a lot of sketches and do a research. I think like, research is important. The research, and you can collect a lot of reference. Reference is good. It can take you to new places, or yeah, and gather reference. It depends on what you want to do. Like if it's designing, then get a lot of reference. If it's more about idea, then get images that will give you like the emotion or the feeling you want to transmit. That's more difficult, but it's about being prepared. Being prepared, and after that, that you have this sketch. Sometimes you think that because I have this, and this is my sketch, and this is what I have to do this is what I need. You might think that, okay, I can create something from that. But sometimes it's good to have a more confined space where you can think about the composition of that sketch. What is here? What is there? What's going on? What kind of values are you thinking? Like think about big, medium, small. Maybe have somebody here, So you start thinking about the composition of the whole piece. If you have characters, then you can think about the props and how those are relating to each other. Maybe have the character interacting with each other, like maybe touching the head, maybe probably fighting to each other. I like the ones that you can have a character and then you can have another character like hugging, and this other character is thinking is more like a little bit sad, but the character is like maybe drunk. Come on, dude, it'll be fine, man. Then you start making a story about that, but they are connected. There's something happening there, so you have a feeling. Maybe this guy is hurt. Maybe he's asking for money. So as you start sketching, I'm not thinking, oh, maybe this is not looking this, or maybe it should look better. You start thinking, maybe this is like a beer there, or maybe this guy is just a punk, but this guy's just helping, and he's like a nerd. So, or maybe, I don't know, they are looking at a beautiful cat here, and then you have an animal, and then you give like a third reason and a third character to interact, So you start thinking about a group, And then from that you can start developing more the idea. But I think the composition and figure out the rest, it will work a lot. I used to have this issue that I would just only do one character. And many of my pictures are like one character, one character. But like a very sexy character. You see how fast I can do that? So that you can have one character like that. And while it's cute and it works and it's appealing, then and you can make it simple or whatever. You have one character, but once you start getting something else as an extra or as a balanced character, as a something extra on the image, it will give you like extra value for people. Like I have this, I will show you, instead of like drawing, I have some examples here that could help, like example like this one, Oops. Let me see here. Okay. It's this cat girl, and then there's a cat. There's a relationship. There's a flow of the skull of the cat with this girl. There's expression of the girl like boring. It's like, how are you there to bite my finger? Kind of thing. And you think about a certain situation, like this girl, for me, she's escaping from like from an asylum or something where she has like crazy people and she just escaped because she's like a free character. So you find ways of giving an extra story. Maybe this girl is like so cool that she doesn't even need to drive. She drives with her high heels, you see? So kick-ass. So that's one. Because you can have pin-ups for showing something cute, or maybe you can have a story. This one has a more story. So you can create something. Like when I did this, I thought about like, well, this character, she is like it's like corpse bride, obviously. Mm-hmm. But there's like my point here is like she hasn't realized that she is in that state. She's already dead and she's a corpse, so she hasn't realized that. And the situation she gets through is something like she didn't expect until there's a moment in the story that she find out and she embraced that. So that's like putting some story on the characters and changing, practicing expressions. These are more studies. Let me see. Like that, or I did this one like she's busy talking at the same time. The fun is there, but the fun and the wire leads you through the girl because it's like spinning her legs, which is sexy, nice, sexy leg. So everything is together and then gives you like okay, she's busy, she's sitting in this chair, and this situation is happening, instead of something more like let me see, like this, where the characters are just being cool and showing off like how cool they are. So you can have those two things in case you get tired of doing sexy girls. Saying like this, this is like another like a lizard girl. She has a tail and she has a companion. They're like a small weird lizard thingy. But there's a story, You can start thinking that that's the pet she's protecting because she feels like connected to that lizard somehow, and they want to take it from her. So you start thinking about that, and the more you think about the characters, the more details and storytelling you can have. So that will be my take on that. And we were talking about the sketches, right? So after I did the sketch, I think I have a page here where I can show you. This is kind of small. Let's see. Here. So this one is like a really rough sketch, and then I got that's my idea, and then I go to Photoshop and start changing it a little bit, changing the hand, changing the position, clean it up. I like to go to a few layers if it's digital, and explore a little bit more. And after that, then I go and in this case, after I get the composition done and everything, I do the line art, and this takes more time because you really have to figure out all the steps. all the positions like foreground, middle ground, and background. Background character or background as landscape. So you think about all those things, you organize them, you put it in layers, and then after that you start coloring. You know, so you have different characters that go in the front, and the front it will have more detail, it will have more lights, it will have more highlights. Where you go up, it will have a little bit less than that, and the character will have less in the background. So, if I go back to the whole thing that I was doing here, just go for the research and then do a final rogue sketch, and then do the line art and spend the time doing the line art. This is the most tedious part. Like for me, I don't like it much. I've been figuring a way to avoid doing line art. That's why I try to make my lines really tight, so I don't have to go all over and draw on top of the lines that I already did. So it's like a double work for me. So deal with the line art best way you can, and then go for a coloring. Colors, and then go for some, I like doing the colors and then go for some effects, you know. Think about clouds, think about particles, think about lighting sources, think about the textures that you can add on the image. And I think I have it here. You might not see it because it's subtle, and that's how I like to deal with textures. If you see this character, there's a texture image that I added there, but it's really subtle. So when you zoom out, that texture is still there, but it's not in your face. That's something like people like doing digital art kind of like learn a little bit more. Sometimes the textures are like used like too much. So yeah, like that will be, you know, here you feel that there's it's a different material. And that will be the effects and whatever extra things that you want to do some color variations. And I think the most important is like to explore and get feedback from people or friends or whatever. I used to ask my mom, hey mom, can you tell me something, what do you think about this? And my mom will tell me, hey, I don't know if that part that you draw there is okay. And then I'll see it and I was like, you're right. And then you go back and do it, you know. But find somebody who can give you like a good feedback instead of something like, oh, it looks beautiful, you should go ahead. So many people is surrounded by that kind of person that will only tell you, oh, I love your work, it's really good, it's beautiful, and it's really nice and all that. But for me, I take all those comments and I put it in one bag, and that's cool. That's the cool things that message I receive. But that doesn't affect my work. I don't let that thing come to me and think, oh, wow, look, all these people think about me. I just keep it like, I keep it in that bag. Thank you very much. It's like, cool. But I'd rather put in a different bag, somebody like a teacher, somebody who can tell me, oh, you know, this part is really bad, or you can do this, or you can do that. But if somebody tells you it's bad, I wouldn't like him so much. But I would like somebody who tell me what to do or what could be improved instead of telling me their opinion. More like, maybe you can change this or try this or move it this way, and you see, oh yeah, you're right. Oh, I didn't think about it. And sometimes you get you can solve your piece faster if you have somebody next to you that can tell you the obvious. You know, sometimes you do something and you're like, oh, this looks pretty good, and then somebody comes like, oh man, I think that hand is too big, and you're like, no, it's not big. Just like I just like to draw it like that. It's like, no man, maybe it's big. So, you know, because don't make excuses. That will be the main thing. Don't make excuses on the work that you do. Like, oh, I didn't have enough time, or blah 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 blah. And people don't care about that. People don't care if you didn't have enough time or whatever. They want to see the drawing done or something nice that you have done. So that will be my thoughts about it. I think that's I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Are there any books that you recommend?
Books. There's one that I found recently in a CTNX. Is a hundred Tuesday tips. I don't have the name right now, but it's a really good book about about figure invention for animation, and it really helps you to get the main concept. It's called 100 Tuesday Tips. I think that's the name. For other books, I'll say artists that you like. Get the inspiration from the artists that you like. Don't just get the book and then just leave it there. You know, but get the book and be interested in what they have done. Check it, double check it. Probably try to experiment on that. Another book, a proper anatomy book, that's pretty good to have. And that will be, I'm using one that was really expensive that I found in Concept Design Academy. It's a German book about anatomy. They sell the English version, but it's not as good as the other one. The one in German has a better images. I think I have a few here that I can show, that are, just by seeing the graphics you can really see how the anatomy is well described. You don't need to understand all this stuff here. Maybe if you know in English, then better. But that would be like anatomy kind of book. Because the other books that I have are more for like more reference of artists that I like to get ideas or yeah, just to feel, But if you are learning and you want to start learning something, get the Andrew Loomis book. It's a little bit old in terms of the drawings, but the information is correct. I mean, you don't need a new kind of like book with better drawings because the concepts are there. Most of the books that I have seen in most of the libraries or bookstores books are a little bit too like were done by like amateur artists that trying to make a book together, and the drawings are not even good. So that a lot of like how to draw manga ones are really the ones I look at them, but I say, well, that's just, if you don't even know how to draw the character properly, how are you gonna teach me how to draw them?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely for books, yeah, I don't know. There's one called 21 Draw that I've been being a guest a couple of times. It's called 21 Draw, and they have different artists giving tutorials or character design samples. Those are the good ones where you have a lot of like different styles together in one book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my case, because I like to try different styles and see, yeah, and improve, improve the style. Because it happens a lot that you draw a certain way, but you can have a lot of fun if you play with proportions and you change things. It's like a very cartoonish kind of thing. They do like the tiny legs and the big arms is one, but then you can change it to something else. And I had a lot of fun taking the silver class, where he will make us break down the female figure to parts, and then we can change the part to however we want, and then you can have like this or maybe something like that, and you start changing the proportions. And this is where things are getting fun, when you are playing and you are playing with your drawings instead of forcing you to make something beautiful and perfect for everybody. Because sometimes when you play with this, then you will find that brings something fresh to your work. That probably just by making something beautiful might bring that result to you. That's why I say explore and try different things and see designs and maybe not, but I have found that many of the artists that are really, really good in what they do is that they have a second thing that they like. They like drawing, but there's something they like cars, they like guns, they like different things like mechanical stuff, and they mix them together. Sometimes they use like animals, and they make the animals and they fuse them, or they have a hobby that like ice skating, or I don't know, something that complements what you draw, because it gives you the life experience side to your drawings, like in something else. And that's what I try like to do. I play frisbee, and now I'm gonna get into inline skates and try to do something different apart from drawing to bring something new. So it depends on how you see things. Sometimes it's good not to see it's good not to check other artists. Sometimes it's good to focus on your own thing and then explore and then try maybe a little bit something of this style and maybe of another style. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make something nice, people like this. Some boobs.
What's the best way to learn for shortening?
For shortening, I will say boxes, and try to play things one in front of another. You have that, and then have another ball in the back, and they have another one here. Maybe like overlapping, or study overlapping, like something like this. And the other where is that connection happening? Let's say an arm. That's something that is super like a classic. Think about a cylinder, and then I think about this, and then I make the arm. I usually start with the main, with what is in front first, so you can overlap as much as you want, and then you can have the arm here, and then you can have the shoulder, and then this. So you can make it even bigger. And then you make the other parts smaller. But definitely thinking about the connection, I think that's something that will help you a lot. If you have a cylinder, maybe they make those openings overlap. Let's say you have this shape flat. This is a flat like profile view of the arm. Then in this point is the thickest. Okay, that's the thickest area. So when you do the overlapping, you know that there's one of these ellipses will be bigger, which is the mid-section. So you can have one here. Let me get close. One here, and you can have the end here. But there's an extra one. So you have to think about, because this is a perspective, it will be further, it will be close to this. So you think about that extra, and then you go down from that. And then you have to think, well, that I need, this is the connection here, where I need the elbow. It's like doing connecting pipes, man. That's it. It's like a pipe work. So it's like draw Mega Man, man. Draw Mega Man. Think about that. There, and then you have another thing here, and then you have a smaller one. I think it works a lot with the arms, And overlapping sometimes means that overlaps a lot. Sometimes you can overlap and exaggerate, make that bigger there. It's funny, if people see this drawing, they see, well, is this guy drawing here? I don't have an idea. But but you know what I'm trying to say is like, I draw from life, draw people, you see? I do a lot of these coffee shop drawings that are like people like sitting down. And I have done so many that I already kind of know the pose of them. You know, they are there, or they have it drawing something. But I think if you see, I was drawing the first thing that comes closer to me, which is this arm, and then go for the torso, and I know the head is behind, and I know that will overlap here. So it's about capturing those subtle, sometimes really subtle, the overlapping and roundness of the character. Yeah, some perspective can work as well for that. So it's a little bit of everything. Let me show. I've been showing already a bunch of pages, but I wanted to show more of the sketchbook that I'll be launching for this this year. And some of the pages are like this. And these are like live drawings. This was done in one session. Sometimes when I do live drawing and I come with an idea, I can make a bunch of characters. And I like when that happens, you know. And I try, sometimes I do like more cartoonish style, or I go for more like anime, manga style mix, exploring different styles. Sometimes I do like live drawings and I try a little bit more realistic. Or like this one is more like anime, you know. This is another one from the one of the page. This is more sexy stuff. This is like drawing people. I was saying in the coffee shops, you know. I see drawing, and I try to change the stroke, how I draw. Try to make it simple, you know, fewer lines and be more descriptive about it. Same with this, you can play, you know. If you are always drawing sexy, beautiful girls, you will never have the chance to draw an old lady, grumpy old lady, you know, or like this guy who's like an old dude, but he has a nice swag there with hair, you know, or ladies like this, or a shoe. So all of these are the ones that will make your like visual library better. And if you have to go with a with a concept or with a character, and yeah, this is more like a little bit big, but and the other ones are in the book are the color ones. These are colors, and this one Mystique and Frozen, and League of Legends, and another commission. This is a Kill la Kill. And this is a mix of different sketches of different times. I was doing cats, you know, trying to draw some cute cats. Change it a little bit.
What tools are you using for this page of sketches?
This one?
Mm-hmm.
I use different ones. Here you can see some. This is the Japanese brush. I think it's Pentel. I use that one. I use color pencil. I have a new pen that is called Stylo from Pentel, and it has a nice tip that you can make thick and smaller strokes. And with that one, I have done most of these lines, you know, for this character.
Mm.
And this one is it's a different tool. I always buy different markers, different materials, and try them, you know. So pencils, mix, like this one is with some pencil, and then I do some ink on top of that, or I like to add that thick outline, and, you know, mix it. This is a mix of, you know, both of that. Sometimes I add a shading later on after I finish the drawing. I'm like, oh, maybe you need some shading there. Or like this one is completely done in like ink, and even then I can take this and color it. But if I was really picky, I will go and start fixing stuff here. But at the end, if you zoom out, it's not necessary. So yeah, that will be most of the pages I have done here for the sketchbook, and yeah, it will look pretty good.
That's
There's
awesome.
another one. This is another page. This is the page I was looking because look at this sketchbook. This is sketch I did. They're pretty loose, but you get the idea. You know,
Hmm.
you get the idea even though it's not clean or looks super beautiful. But if you get the elements that you need and the composition, then you can build on top of that. So sometimes like building from the small idea, or sometimes finishing a big idea that you have. So you have to keep room for different variations to be more flexible, I guess, with the way you work. If you do like pencil drawings, then maybe you can change it completely to inks, and then maybe stop the inks and go for watercolor, and then change for something different. And you will see that will make you grow and maybe go out more and draw people outside and see the world. Because I spend so much time in the computer all the time, it's like gonna go crazy. And people ask me if I can play League of Legends, and I play League of Legends and be in the computer. I mean, I don't know. I guess I need like a brain here connected to the computer. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, we're reaching around 4 o'clock right now, so we have time for maybe one or two questions. Um, let's see. What do you think about online courses?
I love it. Actually, I took some classes from CGMA back in 2013. I took some classes with Nate Rack and what was the other class? Jason Shire. He was teaching Introduction to Digital Painting, I think it was called. And they were awesome because I was like, I wanted to start going to school, but before going to school, I was like, I really want to start now. And what I found was that the school was starting in December, and I said, let's do this. And since I started taking some of the classes, I was like, okay, I love it. And I found that it's amazing tool, especially for people who live in other places. I took most of the classes when I was in Venezuela. I took character design classes, and I took a few, only like 2 or 3, because I really want to put the time on creating the homework and really pushing it. Because sometimes you might take 3, 4 classes, but you are focusing only on one. So sometimes it's better to put one class or take 2 classes maximum and really put the effort if you really want to go to a field like, like storyboards, and then you really take that class and then do that storyboard class. Don't focus on storyboard and then ZBrush, like, come on. What, manage your time and make it so realistic. But yeah, I think like CGMA is awesome because you can actually take any class at the different levels that you feel you are in ready to take. Sometimes like you might I felt before like, oh, I was not good doing anatomy, so I went there and I took a class about that, and I was not like, oh, this is just like a beginner class, I would like something more advanced. But you have to see your work. Does your work is reaching that level or not? If it's not, then go back and take the class that will make the fundamentals like really solid. And I think those classes are here, like in CGMA and other classes and other places as well. But that's the beauty of it, because now you can study anywhere. And for me, it was just like getting a Japanese book and try to figure out what they were saying in the Japanese book and see how they use Painter, and a mess. It took a long time, but now it's like, okay, I can have the class and I can do it. But at the same time, because the class is available, some people take it for granted and don't put the time and effort to do that. So it's like everything's about the opinion and how you see things, like in a positive and way. If you really want to improve now, if you're doing this just to have fun, then have fun.
Hmm. That's awesome. This will probably be the last question. Do you have any tips for drawing facial expressions?
Yeah, I that's something I was focused on learning a few years ago, and it it was a really something that I was struggling with, because you do the beautiful face and that's it. But for facial expression, I think that the eyes are really important, and changing the size of the elements in the face, like and the eyebrow. Let's say you have an eyebrow like this, and then you have a big eye, and then you have a small eye. and then you have the nose, and one nose is like nostril is flaring there, and then everything is pushing to one side. So you have that. It's about understanding the face anatomy, you know, because what happening on one side is different from the other. Probably this drawing is not the best one that I'm showing, but you get that as well as like what if you open the mouth, you know, that's something that can be a little bit of a struggle, like opening the mouth and then you know, or maybe you can do like a One Punch Man face. What's that? Yeah, I think something like that. So I think it's more finding the like a simple a simple way of putting the elements. You know, if you make it simple and it works, you know, that maybe do it like this, maybe like this, or well, I'll show you one page that'll make more sense that I did for the studies, and it's this one here. Oh wait, here. Okay. Oh my God, this is moving everywhere. Okay. So in this page, I try different expressions, and you can have a list of the different ones that you want to achieve. I want to do, and probably take out the angry face that everybody does. Let me see if I can. I'll put this in Photoshop quickly. No, this is not the image. Oh, wait, this is complicated, no? Okay, there you go. And here you will see that one half of the face is different than the other. That's one of the techniques or tricks that helps a lot. Like if the half face is different, you know, bigger eye, the face is reacting to the smile. Same with this, you know, one is open, one is like squishing. Otherwise, all these ones are open, you know, both are open and equal, but the mouth is really exaggerated, wow, and open. This one is like everything goes to the center, so you can think about that feeling of how all the facial expression is like contracting there. Or like this one's a classic, you see. The half face is different than the other one. Even if you change it just slightly, it doesn't have to be that bold. Just changing it a little bit, it will make it more lively, because that's how people are. I mean, not everybody has the same smile, like perfect smile. It's too fake or too stiff. You see, like this one is cry. Oh, so you think about that. Crying, how would you cry? This is like, oh, what he's saying, like, what is he saying? Like, oh, what is this? Or something, no? And if you go with a feeling, like, oh, what's happening here? Or you have like an idea, and a feeling for the expression, it will go faster. I have one teacher that will say, the character is happy, you're so happy now, and when you say, oh yes, I'm happy, and so happy, and when you think about happiness and smiling and you start smiling, then the drawing comes to you, you know. You are putting that there, that feeling there, or the character is angry, and then your strokes are getting more like bold and angry, you know, the nose is like, ah. So you start thinking about it like, ah. And even here you can make a small one, then you can make a big one, you know. It's like a Joker now. But yeah, that will be the thing. I had a lot of trouble like with the mouth, because you draw the mouth like close, cute, but when you open the mouth, how does that work in perspective? You know, you have to think about the lips and how they wrap around the mouth, around the teeth and all that, you know. And if you have the nose, then what if it's more than that? Then you start seeing the gums here. Okay, that would be something to study. Probably animation. Say check some animation books and see how they play with different faces and try different styles of drawing. Sometimes you think about a shape, and then you start thinking the expression can be as simple as this. That's the expression that you want, and then from that point you start building more. Start making more things on the character, and it's like you started developing that simple statement, which is like the most important thing. Like simple statement and be clear with what you want to show to people. I like to do these kind of faces, like that one, and then think about the story and all that things for the expressions. You know, especially if you start doing like an image where it's like there's a lot of characters interacting. Then you start thinking, well, this character with this character, they don't get along too well, so their faces are not going to be all happy and fun. So yeah, well, I don't know. There's a lot of things I can talk about, but definitely more doing the research of how the face work. That will be something that pays off at the end. And try. Everything's about trying. And sometimes you see like you might do a face, and that face you do that face all the time. And if you know that you're doing that face all the time, you just stop it and then try something different, even if it sucks. The first one will suck. The second one will be not that much, and then the third one might be better. Maybe your 110 might be the best. So yeah, patience and rock and roll. Have fun. Have fun, especially have fun, and don't think too much in your brain and be positive. That's the thing. Many artists they have this negative. The artists that I know that are really successful are those who are really happy and have this personality that is open and positive all the time. And that's why I see those guys. Okay, these guys are like this open and nice people. You know, that's why I think like it will help your art to grow. People will relate to like the person as well, not only the art. Because if you see, oh, that person is super nice, super cool, and he treats me so well, and he does all this work, then you project this image that will embrace like many things, and well, people will follow you for that and for many things.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Ronaldo. That was really insightful. I learned a lot from you. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It was great.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to see this interview on YouTube.
Okay,
And,
sounds good.
and yeah, people, start signing up for classes. The time has come to improve. So sign
Okay.
in for classes.
Thank you, man. Alrighty. Well, have a good one. Everybody take care.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.